I'll start with reading a short extract from an essay I wrote a few years back called How I Feel About Walking, which is published in this anthology, Empty House, Poetry and Prose on the Climate Crisis from Doré Press. How I Feel About Walking starts with the quote, Salvatur ambulando, it is solved by walking. Walking is essential for me in feeling well mentally. Afflicted frequently by anxiety, I found that walking, particularly outdoors in the natural environment and fresh air, can alleviate the worst effects of this pernicious malady. Walking takes me to forests and mountains, makes me feel well, and for this I'm grateful. Walking, writes Shane O'Mara, especially in regular doses, often in nature, does actually improve how we feel. This has proven true for me also. Whatever the issue, the burden, the feeling, the weight of anxiety, it is solved by walking. To walk, writes Erling Kagg, to take a few steps at a time can be about loving the earth, seeing yourself and letting your body travel at the same speed as your soul. This type of restoration through walking in nature is the one I return to again and again to ease my mind. Walking then today has become a vital and indeed favourite activity of mine. Whether it be a short stroll around the small market town I live in, a longer walk in the local forest on its outskirts, or a serious and demanding hike of many hours up a mountain, I love to walk to clear my head of all the knots it gets itself into, to exercise, to get ideas, and crucially, to dampen down my anxiety. A walk up a mountain. Cúmshin Loch Loop, Cumra Mountains, County Waterford. Elevation 792 metres, distance 7.2 kilometres, 10th of November 2019. An anxious week. The anxiety, this cold, gnawing thing of dreadful anticipation that, while not acute, hovers in the mind and body sufficiently to render me uncomfortable, despite the week's progresses professionally and despite some small successes which I'm able to acknowledge. But still, the anxiety returns, as if unappreciative of all my gains, and lingers on to the Saturday and on to the Sunday. On that Sunday in November, I go hiking. A clear day of blue skies with hazy white clouds. The destination is the summit of the Cúmshin Loch Loop, a horseshoe-shaped route that surrounds a slate-grey corrie lake facing a U-shaped valley littered with erratics. Within an hour of walking this route, my anxiety has abated significantly and noticeably. The landscape, the bulk of the mountain protruding from the valley plain below, heather and gracelands, boggy peat underfoot, a ridge punctuated by conglomerates that I scrabble over to reach the strikingly lonely Nunatak protruding at the summit of the first leg of the walk. The wind whistles across my ears. Underfoot there is the crunch of ice, the surface of the bog frozen in crystal sheets. There are clumps of largely crystallized snow I pick up and fling away before me as I walk, surprised by the first of the season's sighting of snowfall. The bog squelches underfoot as I cross it, its black tar sucking at my boots. Then, on solid ground once more, the grasses rustle against my galoshes and I stride to the cairn of stones marking the summit proper. My breath now is as loud as my footsteps, and at points of difficulty when rock scrambling or hauling myself up steep ascents, often on hands and knees, I grunt as I lift my limbs, up and on, muscles straining now. At that summit, the air has a taste. It is keen and sharp and fresh with a hint of ice. There are now clouds down below this level I'm on, far below in the valley surrounding the Galtee Mountains in the distance that protrude above them. The light now has paled, faded. The sky's blue, vast, as the sun gets low but still remains bright. The ridge behind me a knife edge, marking the route I've traversed so far clearly, the bog to my right, the route to follow. Now I'm fully in the mountains, have been in motion and have come momentarily to a halt to rest, and taking the view, and as I do so I become aware of how all of my anxious worries and cares have been left behind, one step at a time. For all I'm thinking of now is the valley and the mountains, the route behind, the route ahead, going on, descending, and placing one foot after the other until the walk is safely completed.